Researchers at Joslin Diabetes Center have shown an enzyme called dicer, which decreases with age but can be replenished by caloric restriction, is related to a fat distribution anomaly that occurs in HIV patients.
It will give us, as we go forward, more insights into the connection between what's going on in adipose tissue and what's going on in the rest of the body in terms of aging and stress resistance.
In the study, the lab of Dr. C. Ronald Kahn reduced dicer in fat cells of mice to better understand how the enzyme functions. They saw that the mice with reduced dicer levels had poorer metabolic profiles, including higher triglycerides and systemic insulin resistance. Most strikingly, they noticed that the mice had extremely low levels of white fat in traditional locations and increased white fat cells where they shouldn't be.
Under normal conditions, having less white fat is good. We would be lean. But there are diseases where people have too little white fat, and these are called lipodystrophies.
The lipodystrophy they noted in the animals caused the brown fat that existed between their shoulder blades to become more like white fat, resulting in a hump. This physical characteristic was reminiscent of another disease.
And it really made us think of a particular form of human lipodystrophy which occurs in HIV patients treated with antiretroviral drugs.
To follow up, they took fat cells from patients being treated for HIV and saw that their dicer levels were also reduced. Previous studies have shown that caloric restriction increases dicer levels, so they are hoping this information can be used to create a treatment for this form of lipodystrophy.
We know that caloric restriction is a way to restore some of the positive metabolic propensities in many organisms, not just humans. We believe that a therapeutic intervention could start by devising compounds that can mimic what we see with caloric restriction.
Future studies will explore the systemic insulin resistance brought on by reduced dicer in fat cells, as well as how reduced dicer further relates to aging and fat distribution.
I think another important aspect of this research has been to show the kind of unexpected associations between basic science and clinical disease. When you do research into basic mechanisms, you often discover new insights into clinical diseases that may prove to be very important both in diagnosis and ultimately in treatment.